Label one is going to be to tell the user, oh, by the way, this is the the start date that you're interested in having. So that's all the label is. It's property is not valid. Oh, sorry, cancel. That's going to be a label, clock underscore, well, start date. Although you might say, do I really need to have a name for the label? You're not really going to be accessing that variable, but you know something? Follow the convention. The thing that you want to do now is to go to the label and say, aha, what is going to be the text of that label? And this is where you can say, okay, this is going to be your start date, colon, and boom, you see it here. And then the other one is the label, is, that's one is going to be the end date, colon. Okay, so, and we're not doing any coding right now. We're just preparing the thing so that once all of the visual elements are there, all the controls we'll need are there, we just need to interconnect them, hook them up together, okay? So basically, what I mean by that is write our event handlers. So we have this guy. Then, the other thing we're gonna need are what? What are we gonna need?
Chart and data grid view.
Exactly, the data grid view and the chart. Well, I'm gonna hold off on those because they're a bit more involved and we don't need them quite at the moment, okay? At the moment, we need to just check the mechanic all the way up to possibly reading the file. So at this point, I'm gonna grab all these elements. The way I do that, I just do a rubber band around all the controls I wanna put together. And it shows you that they're all together now by doing that. The reason is I wanna move them, but I don't want to move them one at a time. It's a pain. So if I know I want to move all these together as a block, I grab them all together. It gives me this. And now how do you move them? You got to move the mouse and wait till it becomes like that, this cross. When it becomes a cross like that, that means you can now move things. Whereas if I'm just like this and I click and I try to move, it's not going to do anything like that, okay? And so here we are. It's a cross. And I can move the whole thing as one fell swoop. It's all already aligned, bang. I know that because it, if you didn't know, you would have had to do it later because when you put the data grid view on the chart, you would see that, oh, whoa, I can't put them in there, there's not enough room. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Okay, if there are any questions, you stop. Oh, how did you do this? How did you get there? Just ask. That's all I ask, that you ask. Okay. So at that point you say, okay, let's start thinking, and by the way, to stop this thing, just click outside. That way you don't inadvertently drag it again and say, oh God, I moved everything. Okay, so now we're like, all right, I think I have the basic stuff. What do we want to do? We want to write the event handler, okay? The event handler, and what's the first event handler you want to take care of? Yes?
Open file dialog.
Yeah, and that would be an event handler caused by what event?
The click button event.
That's right. It's the event that is a click from the button. No, an event is always pretty simple to describe. You give the name of the event, mouse move, click, key down. There's all kinds of events, okay? And then you have to specify the source. Ah, yeah, from the button. So at this point, we can go to the button. We can look at the properties, okay? And we want to look at the event. By the way, as soon as I asked for property, it went to text. That's the default property. The property or the event it takes you directly to, which is shown in blue, is the default one, the one they feel you'll probably want to work with. Well, when I click on event, boom, it takes me right away to the click event of the button. And it also always tells you over here on the bottom what the event is about. Now, if you don't take the time, if you don't study, you don't look at this thing, this is all new to you when we've been doing it for the last 2-3 weeks. And you have to ask yourself, how the hell do I not know this stuff? How is it that it's the first time I see it? That's for you to answer, okay? So anyway, click, and all you have to do is follow their convention. Their convention is give me the name of the control and give me the name of the event. But if you remember, we chose the name of the control. So our convention is already there. And the other part of the convention, underscore the name of the event is perfect. So we don't have to do anything. We just have to click in here and get the event. Double click actually, bang, here's the event handler. And if you want to know, well, what does it look like name-wise? Oh, it's the name that we gave to our button. We called it button load ticker, underscore the name of the event that we're handling. Click. So everything is kind of given to you in there. Now these are just methods. They send you a sender and they send you a set of arguments, and there's a reason for that, because you could actually have one event handler that handles events for a number of controls. So you say, whoa, how do I know which control sent it? That's what this is for, okay? But in our case, we're not doing it for multiple controls. We know it's coming from button 1. So here we are, we're getting a click from button 1. What do we want to do?
Open file dialog?
That's right. And well, we want to deal with it, but more specifically, what do we want to do with open file dialog? Yes?
Show dialog?
That's right, we want to show it, okay? I mean, here it is, this is another open file dialog ticker. We're going to take, that's the open file dialog. Again, that's the issue of concept versus fact. You had the, who answered first? Open file dialog, very good. So you had the concept that, hey, we want to bring up the open file dialog and we want to somehow display it. That's the concept, that's all we want to do. You click on the button and boom, the open file dialog has to come, okay? Then we say, well, what do we exactly want to do? We want to show the dialog, okay? Is the information that we're talking about, the young lady to the right of the young man there, is this stuff on your phone? No. What's on your phone? I don't want to see you look at that phone again, okay? Another thing, why people get fired. They can't get rid of the phone. All kinds of stories. Don't laugh, it's not funny. It's a nurse. She got fired because she was using her phone all the time, and they said, look, you can't be doing that. We have emergencies and stuff like that. Can't you just put it away? They gave her a choice, a phone or a job. What did she choose? What did she choose? Tell me. Of this generation. What's your guess?
Job.
No, she chose a phone. Got fired from an RN job. Okay? And this video of people, they're laughing. I've been fired from 3 jobs in 1 year. Okay? And another one, they would be looking at me. Every time I would even scroll, they would report me and so forth. And I'm like, yeah, what the hell are you doing scrolling at work? Okay, you're in class, so don't be having fun on your phone unless all of this is on the phone. Okay? Please, I'll call people out for doing stuff now. Okay? Because I find it insulting. Open file dialog, and as you said, yeah, we want to show it, okay? Now, understand I said show it on purpose. You have the right word for it, which is show dialog, because it's a dialogue. And I've explained, do we know why it's a dialogue? We've explained that, did we not? Yes, no? Yeah, okay. Yes?
Because it's not what the dialogue is.
No, so we did talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to explain more, you know what it is. If you had other windows, there are other windows that you can just call show on, okay? And they show the window and you can do other things. But because this is a dialogue, the only method it has is the show dialogue method, not the show. Others have show, and they also have show dialogue, depending on whether you want the window to show up and you be stuck dealing with it, dialoguing with it until you're done. That's when you would do a show dialogue. Or you can just say show where you say it comes up, but I can play with it and I can also move away from it if need be. Okay? So in our case, it's a show dialogue, and at that point, that's it. And we can say, hey, let's see how far we've done, even with me talking and all of that, so wasting time. I can say, at least it seems to be this. I don't know why we're doing this thing like this, but okay. All right, if I click on load ticker, boom, yeah, it shows the dialogue. Excellent, we'll do something else with it in a second. Another thing I want to express here, or show, is if I do this and I run, let's say I'm debugging, Do you notice how load ticker has a blue border around it? That means it has the focus. Remember, we made sure that that button would be the one with the focus, which means that I don't have to go move 1 mile to click on it. I can just hit enter, and it's gonna act like it was clicked on, because if you have a button with the focus and you hit enter, it's the same as if you had clicked on it. And this is just to help you get things moving along, okay, while you're debugging. You don't want to start, and every time you debug, you gotta go change this, and you gotta change the date. Oh, yeah, we just talked about changing the date. That's another thing, okay? I don't want, when I start my thing, to always change the date. Right now, the date is just today, because if you do not specify the date, okay, like here, I'm looking at my starting date time picker, okay, I can look and I can see that, oh, by the way, if I'm looking at the event, not the event, the properties, it takes me right away to value. Value, when you have a date time picker, value tells you what is the date that is chosen on that particular date time picker, okay? Because if I have a date time picker and the user picks a date, you say, okay, they picked a date. Where is that information stored? It is stored in value. And value, you can change that right now. If you don't specify a value, it tells you the value at the date and time when we are. Right now, last time we did this, it was 9:55 on today. So for the start date, I don't want that. I want to go to 2024, okay, and I want to go to January. Our data only goes, the one I provided you, till August 2024, okay? So don't ask for data. If you had done this, it would not have given you any data, because as it would try to read, it would say, you want to start today and you want to end today, there's no data. Or if you had said, oh, I'm going to try November to today, well, there's no data past August, you would have gotten nothing. So one thing you want to do is right off the bat, set up a value for the start date. So right now, my start date, oh, I don't know why it's doing this like this. It really should be showing as a value. Oh no, I don't want this thing. As I said again, I want to